Hey guys, welcome to week 4 of the Fantasy Forum. It's getting more depressing each and every week. I had to work on Tuesday, unfortunately, so this is the only day this week I had that I could do this. So sorry that it's so late, but at least I'm able to get it up today, and everything's gonna be a little bit biased because, of course, we had the Thursday night game last night where the Bengals destroyed the Dolphins. But anyways, we'll get into it. First off, I want to tell you guys a little bit of a story. Um, and I don't know how this happened. Sorry, I keep shaking the camera. Um, yeah, I don't know how this happens to me, but it always does. It's like every single week, something has to happen to my team. And this week it was so comical. I was laughing. I don't know why I do fantasy. I really don't. But so I'm at work. Yes, was it yesterday? Thursday. Thursday was yesterday. Yeah, I'm at work yesterday, and I get a text message from Rob, and it says something along the lines of, "Hey, I'm interested in Gordon Hayward." Oof, I'm already thinking basketball. I'm interested in Josh Gordon. Um, and I need, what did he need in return? I can't remember. A decent running back. No, he already has running back. Oh, he wanted Josh Gordon, and he wanted to give me a running back, which I was looking at it, and I was thinking about it, but I really wanted to see what Josh Gordon could do. And I mean, I kind of spent a higher pick on him, not like too bad to where it would hurt my team if he, happened to be out for the season. But so yeah, I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna roll with Josh Gordon. I'm gonna see what he can do. So this was, mind you, this was like, I don't know, 3, 4 o'clock yesterday. About. So then I go to the gym after work, and I'm running on a treadmill, doing my thing. I'm watching ESPN, and the little ticker on the bottom of the screen, it said something like, "Oh, Josh Gordon um, is going to rehab," or something like that. And it checks himself into rehab, and I'm like, "What does that mean? Like for a day? For what are they talking about?" And then I'm thinking, "Oh, well, then maybe this has something to do with that paternity thing. I don't know." But then I'm watching it, and they show that he's going to be out indefinitely, and who knows if he's even going to ever play for the Browns again. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, um, I literally, I mean, I would have probably vetoed the trade. I would hope everybody would have vetoed the trade if we would have happened to make a trade, because I would have felt so shitty if that would have happened. But I mean, you can't write this. It's literally like me and Scott used to make this joke all the time. You cannot write the stuff that happens to me, and it's just, every single freaking week there's something different. And so yeah, I probably lost a potential stud, and I already lost AP, which he happens to be up on the league board this week, so I get to keep seeing him. And I happened to play Francis this week, who put that up, so I think that's kind of funny in itself too. Um, so yeah, everything is it's going down the drain for me. I'm 0-3 now. That was another thing too. I was gonna put the video up, but I decided not to. But I was watching. I started watching the Falcons game, and I really wanted to watch the presidential debate, so I kind of watched that more than I watched the Monday night game. But I started watching the football game at first because the debate didn't come on until 9. And so I'm watching I'm watching the Falcons the first drive, and TJ had Tevin Coleman, and I needed to hold him to 5 points in order to win. So I mean, it would take a miracle, but I mean, it happened to me several times to where my players don't produce on Monday night. So I was, a little tiny bit hopeful maybe I could, push scrounge out a win. So, anyways, I'm watching the game, and then that freaking the punt, the very first punt that the Saints had, the guy runs into the other guy somehow. I don't know what happened there, and so the Falcons get all that yardage back. They're like in the red zone now. They're like at the 10 or something like that. And then Tevin Coleman, very first play or second play or something, just whoop, gets in the end zone easily. Touchdown. I shut it off. I'm like, wow, really? Like, only that? I mean, I know it would have probably happened anyways, but in that way, when I was watching it, just happened to be watching it for just a few minutes because I knew I wasn't going to watch hardly any of the game. It was so funny to me. And then I looked later on ESPN and I saw the Coleman has 3 touchdowns now, and I'm like, oh, just has to, put insult to injury and just keep pounding me down more and more and more. So, and yeah, he's been actually doing pretty decent this year, but I don't think he had a touchdown yet. And all of a sudden he gets 3 touchdowns. So, yeah, that's my luck in fantasy. I can't do anything about it. I'm running, and the rest of my team just looks horrible. I I can't do anything about it. So I'm sorry, guys, if I'm not competitive. I'm trying, I really am, but it just seems like somebody has put a curse on me, and it won't go away. I have some kind of Cleveland curse, and so yeah, we'll get into this. Let me share my screen here. Okie dokie. So as you guys see, we have good old Adrian Peterson this week, who unfortunately is out for the season, most likely. And there's a nice picture of him being all big and bulky. We had a couple trades this week. Rob and Blaine made a trade, a big trade actually. Rob traded away Kelvin Benjamin and Christine Michael for Julio Jones, and wow, that is a big trade. Of course, I played Blaine when Julio had his great game, had his comeback in the fourth quarter to beat me. So I'm probably going to be playing Rob the next week, and he's going to destroy me then too. That this is how I look at this crap anymore. It helps out both players. The thing is, Kelvin Benjamin, I think he had 0 points this week. I don't know what happened. Yeah, he just, for some reason, they did not get him the ball. He might have been hurt even. I didn't think he was. But Minnesota just has a great defense this year, so that could have just been the factor. So, and Christine Michael looks like he might be Seattle's guy now. With Rawls out, he might really be the one to step up in that offense. So, I think it's a very good trade for both parties. Rob gets a stud, like a third top 5 guy in Julio Jones, and then Blaine gets a running back he desperately needed, and gets a really good wide receiver in return. So, I mean, who knows? Benjamin could finish ahead of Jones this year. So, right now, I think Lane kind of wins this trade, but we'll see. And we also had Josh traded for Aaron Rodgers. He traded, I guess, Latavius Murray. Nobody wants wants him because he's been tossed around like a rag doll this year. Um, but yeah, they are. So I think Mr. Batch just got Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady for trade bait because you don't need two stud quarterbacks in our league. So I guess he wanted to see who needed a quarterback the most and then see what he can get for it. And he got a good deal. So that good on you, Mr. Batch. That was a really good job. And Josh, you get a quarterback. I think you probably could have ended up getting a decent quarterback off the waivers, but you're not going to get Aaron Rodgers, so that's good as well. We're going to look at my team now. As you can see, 0-3. I am dead last in the league. I am dead last in any kind of power rankings. I'm dead last in any kind of hope in dreams. So yeah, as you can see, I'm rolling with Danny Amendola now. That's who my flex guy is going to be, because Chris Thompson against Cleveland, I love that matchup. I mean, but Danny Amendola is going against Buffalo, who's ranked dead last in passing offense or passing defense. The matchup just looks so good. So I think I'm gonna go with that and see how it goes. Martellus Bennett, the last week without Tom Brady, they're actually ranked second against the Buffalo passing defense against tight ends. So I'm gonna leave Martellus Bennett on the bench again this week. And since I got Dennis Pitta, one little kind of bright star in my lineup. But another thing I want to say is my team last week. All right, I had a quarterback Phillip Rivers, running backs C.J. Anderson and Jerick McKinnon, wide receivers Brandon Marshall and Randall Cobb and Golden Tate, tight end Dennis Pitta, defense Chiefs, and kicker Blair Walsh. Okay, out of all those guys, my 7 offensive players, I had not one. I did not get one single touchdown. Not one. Phillip Rivers, 326 yards. I mean, that was his best yardage by far. And he got a fumble, but no touchdown. After he had 4 last week, no touchdown. C.J. Anderson, after getting 2 touchdowns, and he has 3 touchdowns total, nothing. 37 yards, nothing. 4 points. Jerick McKinnon, you thought he would replace Adrian Peterson? Their running game just looks awful. There's nothing. It's a joke. So he had nothing. Brandon Marshall was hurt, so I give him kind of a pass, but he played and didn't get nothing. In fact, my 3 wide receivers, Brandon Marshall, Golden Tate, and Randall Cobb, all have 0 touchdowns in the year. 0. None. None of them have a touchdown. My 3, top 5 round guys, they were in the 5th, 4th, and 2nd rounds. Nothing. Not a touch. Not a single touchdown. So, it's looking bad. It's looking awful. Brandon Marshall's going against Seattle this week. Jerick McKinnon's going against Giants. The only hope I have is that C.J. Anderson and Dennis Pitta, and the one good thing that happened last week for my team was the Chiefs defense, and they put up an amazing 32 points. I can't remember ever seeing a defense. Maybe the Cardinals that one time where they had like 3 kickoff returns or something in a game. I know they had a lot of points that week, like 30 or 40, something like that. But besides that, I can't remember a defense ever getting over 30 points. So that was amazing. God, Ryan Fitzpatrick looked so awful. And they're starting Geno Smith, which I think would be a mistake. I mean, everybody has their bad games. I mean, they should have just took out Ryan Fitzpatrick in the first place, like halfway through that game. But yeah, the Chiefs defense looks good, but of course they're playing at Pittsburgh this week, and they're probably going to get negative points. But Pittsburgh looked awful against the Eagles, so we'll see how that turns out. But I don't have too much hope. Rashard Jennings, I would definitely be playing this week, but of course he's going to be out again. After they were saying, "Oh, he just has a thumb injury. It's going to be he could put it in a cast. He'll be fine." And then all of a sudden he's out 2 weeks now. Like, anyways, so I just have those two. Hopefully I can get them back before. Let me see when my bye weeks are for them. Jerick McKinnon is week 6. So hopefully he will be back before then, because I'll definitely need him for that bye week. I don't want to be rolling with Chris Thompson if I don't have to. Yeah. So my team's just not producing whatsoever. I mean, it's a tragedy. It's really sad. So there's the gist of that. We'll look at the scoreboard really quick. We're gonna look at last week's, and then we'll take a look at this week's. God, AJ Green had a monster game. Actually, he had a monster half. Second half, God, he didn't produce much. So, anyways, yeah, I already kind of told you. We'll just look really quick. TJ beat me pretty easily with my guys literally not doing anything. My defense was the only thing that showed up. They had 32 of my 88 points. Just think about that for a second. That's not anywhere near what you need to do. My defense outscored them by 36. That was the only thing I can. And Carson Palmer had a just terrible game. Jimmy Graham looked good off the bench, I saw, and Steve Smith. So that's a bright spot for you. Of course, Tevin Coleman, he's looking like he's going to be a stud for the Falcons, and that, yeah, he'll turn out to be a good asset for TJ going forward. His other guys didn't play too well. Odell Beckham got a solid game, and Mike Evans had a really good game. Besides that, everybody else did kind of bad. Jeremy Langford got hurt, unfortunately for him. But he still put up 109 points, enough to beat me, and he's sitting at 2-1. So that's a good start to the season. That's kind of weird. My Pandora just started. Let me go turn this off. If I wrote you a symphony. Anyways, all right, we got Francis and Rico. Of course, as soon as I say, "Oh, yeah, don't worry, I don't curse people." Huh. Look what I did to Francis. I'm so sorry. I don't. I don't get it. But Rico, I did rank Rico over him as the #1 team in the league, and he looked. So I didn't curse Rico. So I don't know. Um, his team just is. He keeps producing. His worst player out of his offensive guys was arguably his best player. So if he can keep up um, the show, he'll have very, and he had some good players on the bench too. Um, Francis, he made the mistake of not playing um, Travis Kelce, but besides that, his team just was just like mine. I actually outscored him this week, which was just because of my defense. But yeah, Russell Wilson is not looking like the guy he was last year. Although he had a slow start last year, and he had an amazing second half. So just keep that in mind. Lamar Miller, getting the carries, just can't. Texans just can't get those touchdowns. Forte, after a big week against Buffalo, Kansas City smothered the Jets really bad. Jordan Matthews saved you with that touchdown, but it is still under 10 points. Yeah, a lot of his guys just didn't show up this week, nor this past week. And I play him this week, so I hope it continues, but he got Le'Veon Bell back this coming week. So yeah, his team just got even better with Le'Veon Bell coming back, and he should easily beat me. Shane Vereen is now out for for Blaine, who only got 84 points last week. He was the only other guy I beat. His team just, I mean, I have bad luck in fantasy, but Blaine is having even a worse season. That is that's unfortunate for him, because I thought his team was one of the best coming into it. And look at Johnny's dad, Mr. Mack. He I think he had the highest score with his defense getting no points. Devontae Freeman got 33 points. My God. The Falcons have an amazing running game, I guess. Both of their... That makes me even more mad about Tevin Coleman. Oh, Devonta Freeman got 33 points. That means Tevin Coleman didn't do anything, right? Oh, nope. He got 29 points. How about that? It sucks about Dez Bryant. But other than that, your team is looking better. That's something. I don't know why you refuse to play Michael Crabtree. Every week I keep telling you to play Michael Crabtree, and you won't. Maybe I should try to make a trade with you for him, because he's been sitting on your bench looking like a stud. Better than anybody I have. He picked up Fozzie Whitaker, which I kind of strayed from doing, and he didn't do much at all. He did have 5 catches for 34 yards, so that was something. But yeah, his team had a very, very good week. Looking better. Julio Jones, he had after he had 21 points against me, he scored 2 points this week. Oh, so funny. Yeah. So, just my luck. His whole, besides Stafford, Everybody else had a horrible week. And look at that. And that was the other thing about my team, too. It was like, oh, so these offenses did bad, right? Like my wide receivers, Golden Tate and Brandon Marshall. Well, okay, that was an exception. They did awful with the Jets, but Green Bay had 4 passing touchdowns in the first half. Aaron Rodgers had 4 touchdowns in the first half. Any of them the Randall Cobb? No, of course not. Why would they be? Golden Tate. They had 385 yards passing with 3 touchdowns for Stafford. Did any of those go to Golden Tate? He had 4 catches for 40 yards. So, I mean, that's not awful, but it's not going to win you any fantasy games. And that Marvin Jones had 200 of it. Jesus. Why? Why does... Golden Tate's the 5th rounder. He's clearly the number 1 back. Nope. Or back. Wide receiver. Nope. Scott won on that one for sure. Yep. And Corey Coleman getting hurt. Thomas Rawls getting hurt. Delaney Walker was hurt. Doug Martin's hurt. Danny Woodhead got hurt. Shane Farine's now hurt. Eric Decker. I'm so sorry, Blaine. I complain about my luck. That is awful. For you to score 84 points this week was actually a miracle. So if you're playing Blaine next week, I just happened to play Blaine at the wrong time, I guess. Wow. Rob, is that a picture of a naked Donald Trump? Make America Great Again. Okay, I really hate your team name because I can't stand Donald Trump. I know I shouldn't get into politics, but wow, do I really, 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 really hate Donald Trump. And the only reason I'm voting for Hillary is so that that jackass cannot get into office. Wow, he's a terrible human being. He really is, and he would make an awful president. I don't care if he is a great president. I still hate him as a person. I'm sorry, and I wish he would just quit because he does not deserve it. Oh, you didn't even play Emmanuel Sanders, Brandon. I didn't realize that, and you still won. Yep, same thing with the Broncos. I'm thinking, oh, they scored 29 points. C.J. Anderson should have had some of that. No, none of it whatsoever. Minnesota, 22 points. Jerick McKinnon must have had a good game. Nope, none of it. It was so funny. LaShawn McCoy finally showed up this week. His running backs finally showed up this week. That's what got him the win. I've said that in the first place. If his running backs just can produce like they should, he will have a great season. And Deshaun Jackson also had a great game for him. So that was good. And Travis Benjamin, I thought he would do better. But he still got 10 points. That's not bad. Other than that, the team, was your running backs performing for you. And Emmanuel Sanders, if he can keep that up. And Michael Thomas also had a good game. I think Willie Snead was out, so that probably won't happen every week. For Rob, he had a okay day. Kelvin Benjamin scoring 0. That's what killed him. Julian Edelman, he's not looking like a great fantasy stud, but we all know when Tom Brady comes back, it'll be a field day for him. Oh, and Rob picked up Terrell Pryor, who I had before, but I was like, oh, yeah, Corey Coleman and Josh Gordon coming back. Terrell Pryor's not going to do anything for the Browns. Although, now he's doing fucking everything for the Browns. He's playing safety for the Browns. My God. He's playing quarterback. He's playing wide receiver. He's playing running back. He's the Browns. He's literally the Browns right now. The only player we have. and he scored 31 last week. So, yeah. Again, I gave away a stud, and Rob last week it was also his running backs who kept him in the game, but it just wasn't enough, mainly because of Benjamin getting the goose egg, as they say. So, Brandon got a good win there. Looking better every week. All right, and then we have Josh, who is also 0-3, like me. Only he scored 138 points last week, and this was a great matchup. Ryan Matthews getting 0 points for Mr. Batch, and he still won. That was because of this little grouping right here. LeGarrette Blount is carrying the Patriots right now, and he's getting a lot of carries and producing, doing really well for them. And I just want to take a second to I know everybody hates the Patriots anymore, except for Mike, my best friend Mike. He is a huge Patriots fan, but it seems like everybody hates them because of the cheating and all that, which I can understand. But you have to respect Bill Belichick and how amazing of a coach he is. He had a third string rookie quarterback, and LeGarrette Blount, who doesn't. I mean, he hasn't done much in his career other than banging a couple of touchdowns, but he has never been like a workhorse kind of guy. And then you have Julian Edelman, who I don't even know if you would consider him like a great wide receiver or just like a product of Tom Brady kind of thing. And then you didn't have Gronk, you didn't until this past week, and he still really didn't do anything. But yeah, you had all these players out, yet you still find a way to not even beat teams, but destroy these teams. And I mean, I know Miami and Houston aren't like big, like they're not going to do well this season. But at Arizona was a huge win. They have an interesting matchup against Buffalo this week. But you got to respect. I mean, a 27-0. I mean, he just keeps winning. I don't even know if he needs Tom Brady. Who knows? Maybe if it wasn't Tom Brady in the first place. I know, it probably was. But yeah, and then Antonio Brown, after kind of a poor showing last week, even with a terrible showing by the Pittsburgh, he still got his 20-some points. Jordy Nelson gobbled up all the touchdowns. And Kobe Fleener, he kept dropping him, picking him up. And he finally produced for you. So that was a surprise in my eyes. So that was good for you. Yeah, and Josh, I mean, everybody played pretty well. He took another chance on Jameis Winston, and he did really well. And you had some good showings for your team, so I could see you doing better in the future here. You shouldn't be undefeated for long, or winless. And last but not least, we have Johnny against Scott, and Scott. Oh, yeah, Scott was the high point scorer last week, mainly because of Marvin Jones putting up almost 40 points, and the Vikings defense putting up 28 points. And DeMarco Murray, oh my God, #1 in fantasy again. Maybe he is as good as everybody makes. He's a stud. He is a fantasy stud. So good for you there. And Jeremy Hill showed up this past week, but the next week you probably played him. But Jeremy Hill got 2 touchdowns. He's just a boom or bust player. He really is. He never has like just an okay game. He's always in under 10 or over 20. It's one of the two. Matt Ryan had an okay game. Yeah, everybody produced well for your team. He had 175 points, and Rob Gronkowski didn't even score or have a point. He had 0. Oh, that's scary. That is very scary. And he didn't even play Cam Newton, who's the #1 in fantasy. And also he didn't play Demaryius Thomas. Oh, that's looking like it's gonna be a good team. Scott coming back. So those were, and I'm sorry, Johnny's team, they did bad this past week. No, David Johnson and Mark Ingram getting 20. That was that looked a little better because he's been underperforming a lot. Other than that, yeah, his team just didn't look very good at all. So, that was the matchups from last week. We'll look at the matchups for this week really quick. At 36 minutes, so that's pretty good. It's me against Francis. Francis is 1-2 right now. His team I think is better than that. The Bengals D got him 14 points last night, which is really good. He's projected to score 139, and I'm projected to score 106. But I think that's actually pretty generous. I don't see myself scoring over 90 points again. So Francis wins this by a mile. Rico is going against Blaine this week. Blaine's projected to score 103. Rico's projected to score 120. Jarvis Landry got 13 points. I mean, even with the Dolphins having I guess they had to play catch-up all game. So, Jarvis Landry got, wow, he is looking so good this year. He is a PPR god. Blaine did pick up Darkwa, which I was thinking about picking up, but I thought Rashard Jennings would be back, but apparently no. So this guy's probably going to take his job, and Rashard Jennings probably going to retire from football and maybe even get in a major car accident. I don't know. That's what seems to happen to my players. You're playing Uinawa. You're playing just the weird names. Michael, you got in the trade, and Benjamin. So, oh wait, no. Yeah, you got those guys in the trade. So, you're not playing Yeldon this week. That's interesting. And Rico has his has all his team playing. Darren Sproles is the only bye. So I see Rico winning this by quite a bit, as he's the best team in the league as of now. Then we have TJ against Mr. Mac. He still has Dez Bryant in his lineup, and I'm pretty sure he's not playing. He's doubtful as of now, and it's Friday, so usually that means they're not going to play. And do you guys think he'll play Michael Crabtree? We shall see. Probably not, though. And you have Jonathan Stewart, who is out, so you can put him on your IR, and you can get a nice pickup. He played Giovanni Bernard this week instead of Langford because he's out. But yeah, other than that, team, this will be a good matchup. I could see I just it's against the two running backs against Carolina. Um, I'm gonna give this one to TJ. I think he has some good matchups here. Um, Josh against Brandon. With the running backs playing well, but AJ, this is gonna be a little bit biased because AJ Green just got him 33 points. So it's looking like he has the advantage, of course. Brandon needs to put up some good games. And he has Eddie Lacy on bye, so that might hurt him just a little bit. Yeah. And you have Latavius Murray now. No, wait, no. You traded for Aaron Rodgers. And you're playing Blake Bortles this week. We'll see how that goes. But I'm going to give this one to Josh based on AJ Green doing well. And I think the rest of his team can produce enough to beat Brandon here. Then we have Rob against Johnny, which is the Trump matchup. God. I hope you guys both do terrible this week. Rob does not have a kicker in yet because, of course, his kicker is on bye week. His bench looks better than my starting lineup. And who would have thought Isaiah Crowell would have been doing so well? I mean, he only got 7 points last week, but still, he looks like he's going to be doing well. He really likes the Cleveland players this year. He's got Julian and Julio as his wide receivers, which is going to be he's going to have a dominant team once Tom Brady comes back next week. I'm going to give this edge to Rob because I really like the Elliott Gordon. Although Johnny's got... And Devontae Parker did give Johnny 4 points, and who knows what's going to happen with Julius Thomas. Yeah, and plus, Rob might be able to plug in any of these guys. He's playing Frank Gore. Jamal Charles comes back. He's listed as questionable. So, yeah. That's that matchup. I'm giving it to Rob. I have to go back and see like who I predicted and like check my record. Hi, whoever's honking. And last but not least, we have Mr. Batch against his son, Scott. And they both scored really high last week. Jeremy Hill just got Scott 7 points, though. And Marvin Jones is questionable, and so is Gronk. Marvin Jones was limited due to hamstring. He took part in practice Friday, and of course he's going to play because nobody can be out so that my fantasy players can do well, like Golden Tate, for instance. So, he'll play. And reported no setbacks. He'll play. Is Garoppolo? If Garoppolo's playing or whatever that Garoppolo, I don't know how to say his name. This matchup, you're playing Cameron Artis Payne. Okay. Again, I hate Carolina running backs. And you have Jordy Nelson on bye, Aaron Rodgers, and Ryan Matthews all on bye. And Tom Brady's not back yet. So you're playing Kirk Cousins. This matchup's going to Scott, even with Jeremy Hill and potentially Marvin Jones out. You still have Will Fuller or Mike Wallace you can put in. So I'm going to give this one to Scott. Alright. And my power rankings, I'm just going to look at the teams and kind of just... Let's look at the standings. That'll probably be easier. Where am I at? 45. Okay. Rico being the only undefeated team in the league, I'm giving him number 1. And I think his team has been very, very good. There's not really a big flaw except for the running back. I mean, Jamal Charles coming back would hurt Spencer Ware, but I mean, he doesn't even have to seem to play Spencer Ware. And if Doug Martin comes back, that'll hurt Sims, but he might be able to find somebody to plug in there. But other than that, his team has just looked very good. Then, we have a lot of 2-1s. A lot of 2-1s. Blaine's team is way too, yeah, they're not second. TJ's team looks better and better every week. So does Brandon's. Johnny's team is had a kind of a bad week. Rob's team looks really good now. Okay, so I'm going to say Rico. Then I'm going to give second to Rob because I think Rob making that trade gives him another stud. And with Julian Edelman and Jamal Charles potentially going to be really, really good. Yeah, he has a lot of good pieces on his team. Scott 3. He scored 175 points last week, and I don't see any signs of him slowing down. 4 we'll give to TJ. 5 Brandon. 6 Francis. 7 Blaine. 8 will go to... Wait, did I miss somebody? Rico 1. Rob 2. Scott 3. Did I miss Johnny? Yeah, I think I did. TJ 4. Sound almost like it sounded like I said TJ Ford. Remember TJ Ford, guys? Banging his head off the court. Anyways, like ended his career, so I probably shouldn't make fun of that. TJ 4. We're gonna put Brandon 5, Johnny 6, Francis 7, Blaine 8. I can't count. Mr. Batch 9, Mr. Mac 10. No, Josh 10, Mr. Mac 11, me 12. Yep, that's what it is. I am dead last. Mr. Mac gets up a couple of spots. Josh will go up a lot if his team produces like they did last week. He just unfortunately had to play another good scorer. Who would have thought the 0-2 matchup would have been the best matchup last week? Not me. So, and of course, we have the points for Rico as the most, just over Scott. And I have the least by far. And the most points against would be Francis. No, Mr. Batch, actually. So, yeah. Those are my rankings and my my predictions for this week. And I wanted to do an interview with one of you guys soon. I wanted to do it this week, but it just didn't happen. It didn't work out, I guess. And it was a good thing that it didn't work out because I ended up having to work on Tuesday. So that would have been bad anyways. Hopefully you guys can probably hear the lawnmower out there. Good luck to everybody this week. I'm sorry again that this had to get up on Friday, but like I said, I had to work, and I work 12-hour shifts, so there's not much time to get a video done, and I could do it like way at night, but I decided to do it today. So again, good luck to everybody. I hope everybody has a good week, and I will see you next week. Hopefully it's what day do I have off next week? Wednesday. Hopefully it's Wednesday. It has to be it'll be Wednesday, or I guess it could be Thursday too. But I'll try to make sure I get it up Wednesday. All right. Take care, and I will see you guys. Bye.